One thing you may not know about me is that I used to play baseball. I used to play baseball for all of one season. I knew during tryouts that baseball was not for me. When the coach threw the ball straight up in the air, high in the air, and expected me to stay below that ball and try to catch it, I knew baseball was not for me. Mama didn't raise a fool. Okay? But I know enough about baseball today to know that 3 strikes make an out, right? In baseball, it's strike 1, strike 2, strike 3, and what? You're out. Do you remember the gospel on Good Friday? When we read the story of the passion of Jesus' suffering and death? Do you remember that story on Good Friday? Peter found himself, after Jesus was arrested, being very curious and wanting to hear what was going on, what was going to happen to his friend Jesus. So he went into the garden outside where they were talking with Jesus. And someone in the crowd recognized him. Do you remember the story? And she said to him, "You're one of that guy's friends, aren't you?" And what did Peter say? "Oh, no, you must have me mistaken for someone else." Should we say it together? Strike 1. Strike 1. Peter is in the garden. And now someone is recognizing he's getting nervous. Someone else overhears the conversation and says, "You're right. I do remember seeing that guy. He speaks with that funny Galilean accent. He's a friend of that man too, aren't you?" And what did Peter say? "I'm sorry, I don't know the man." Should we say it together? Strike 2. Oh, Peter. Do we all know enough about baseball to know the situation that Peter is in right now? Peter is in deep waters. There are 2 strikes on the board. And someone looks at Peter and says, "Oh, yes, you are a friend of that man, and I know it." And what does Peter say? He says, "I swear, I do not know that man." Should we say it together? Strike 3. Now, what do we say in baseball when you have 3 strikes? You're out of there. So I don't know about y'all, but after that story where Peter denied Jesus not once, not twice, but 3 times, if I were Jesus, I'd be a little upset, wouldn't you? I'd be a little upset. Which is why the stories that we have during these weeks of Easter are so crazy incredible. Because Peter had 3 strikes against him. He denied Christ not once, not twice, but 3 times. And when Jesus came back from the dead, what did he say? What's the first word out of his mouth? Peace be with you. I don't know about y'all, but if I were Jesus raised from the dead, I'd be tempted to come back and say to the disciples, "Peace be with you, except for you, Peter." You follow me? I'd be tempted to say, "Peter, you bum. You denied me not once, not twice, but 3 times. Peter, got news for you. You are out of here. We are no longer friends, and I'm not speaking with you again, buddy." Have we all shared similar words with other people? Because I have a feeling that today's story is not just about Peter striking out with Jesus. I have a feeling that today's story is about all of us striking out with other people, saying things that are counted as strikes against them, leading to us saying to them, "You're out of here." Or have led to them saying that we're out of here. Which is why today's story is so powerful. Because it's a story of forgiveness. It's a story of Christ looking at a human being like Peter. Peter is just human like the rest of us, amen? We all make mistakes. We all say things we regret. Other people say things to us that they later regret. And instead of forgiving them, what do we find ourselves doing? We find ourselves telling them, sorry, buddy, that's 3 strikes. You're out of here. You're out of my life. I will have nothing to do with you again. It drains my energy to be around you, you negative, whatever words we might use to describe that person. Brothers and sisters, did we hear today's first reading? The guy who denied Jesus, not once, not twice, but 3 times, after he was forgiven by Jesus, what did he end up doing in today's first reading? He became Jesus' biggest fan. He was out following in Jesus' footsteps. And curing people and healing people in Jesus' name and preaching Jesus, even though the people were now persecuting him. And in fact, he ended up, do you know what happened in Peter? He died. He was crucified because of preaching Jesus. That guy who denied Jesus 3 times ended up sticking up for Jesus in the end. Jesus gave him another chance. Are we willing to give others another chance? Those people who said things to us and we said, oh, buddy, that's strike 1. And they said or did something else and we said, ooh, strike 2. Those people who said and did things more than once or twice and we said, oh, man, you are out. I'm not talking to you again. Do any of us in this room have the courage to call them up as we're driving home from Mass today? And to leave them a message because they're screening their calls and they see us calling and they're not going to pick up. Any of us have the guts to leave them a few kind words in the voicemail? Or any of us have the courage to call those people who've struck out against us, who've hurt us? Just reach out to them and say, I was thinking of you at Mass this morning and I hope all's well. Brothers and sisters, today's gospel is not about Peter and Jesus striking out against one another so much as it's about us and the strikes that we make by our words and actions at others and the strikes that they make at us and whether we're going to say to them, you're out of here, or whether we're going to be more like Jesus saying, you know what, you doofus, you goofball. You're human, and I'm human, and I love you anyways. Brothers and sisters, it's time not just to feel good about coming to church, it's time to actually go out and be church, and to bring the risen Christ, and to be the risen Christ to others, not counting the strikes, but letting them go and forgiving.